Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. A couple of days ago, I decided to run 144 default cathedral maps just to see how much currency can we get with some Alk and Go semi-boss rush strategy. I don't want to go too much into detail about a strategy. Please watch the other video for that, which in the core sense, it comes down to running maps, having Conqueror map drops, Elder Shaper map drops, synthesized map drops with a couple of essences and altar farming. Pretty much, okay? The Atlas tree is in the description below. But when I did that, because I was farming my challenges, which is the modified Atlas grind, we're soon there. And I needed some Conqueror maps, that's why I decided to go that in the first place. And it ended up being like a 5 to 6 divination, yeah, divine orbs per hour strategy for just Alk and Go. Don't care about anything, no sextant rolling, no scarabs, no trading, no nothing, right? Alk and Go and just see what we get. And it turned out to be a 5 to 6 divines per hour. And in my opinion, it was actually quite decent. I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. You know, don't worry about anything, just map as you always do. And it turned out to be actually decently profitable. But then I also wondered, what if I add some kind of magic find and do the same thing again to see if we have any big differences in the results. And yeah, that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. And this is like a semi-magic find, and I call all of my stuff that I'm doing kind of semi, because a boss rush strategy is going in, kill the boss, go out, right? My version is go in, kill the boss, and do the altars and essences next to it, which is like a semi-boss rush, okay? And if I say I want to do a magic finder, people kind of think about farming loot goblins, more or less, right? Doing that kind of stuff with like 800 rarity and whatnot. No, mine is actually a semi-magic find. That means all I have for magic finding was getting some gold worm boots for the 20 quantity here, right? Double Ventur's Gamble for extra quantity and some rarity and some resistance, as well as a rarity flask with the rarity craft on it, basically on the flask, right? That gets me up to, I think, 40, where is it actually? Is it Misk? Increased quantity with flasks up, so I'm about 40 quantity and 180 rarity. So that is really, that's why I say like a semi-magic find, because magic finders, you know, they have like complete different gear, but I think those kind of builds, man, I don't even want to play those, right? But I said like, you know, without scuffing my character at all, just going, okay, double rings and stuff like that, adding a little bit, what are the results? And yeah, so let's take a look. I would say I did follow the same principles as on the first, so I'm going to open both of my old spreadsheet and the new one. So you see the differences, right? On the left side here was my old farming. There was the 144, which just like my well-rounded beast character. And on the right side, we have some magic finds. So where were the big differences? I kept the prices pretty much the same. So I didn't want to screw up because it's like a week later, prices changed. But I wanted to have like a good example here to just compare the things, right? The only thing that I adjusted is I was chiseling these maps because I had over 1,500 chisels laying around. I was like, yeah, let's just chisel all of the maps up. So that is basically on top, which this version didn't have. But if we go down, we had like quite a bit of more currency when it comes to that. Wait, let me actually remove this line over here, because the average wave count is actually like more of a simulacrum thing, right? So we had like 2.8 thousand chaos worth of currency versus 1,500, which is, in my opinion, a lot. So what is the difference? So in the old version, I found one single divine. On the magic find version, I found two divines. One was like a random drop, and one was like from a loot goblin, whatever you want to call it. But I found a void battery that I sold for 2.5 divines. So that is basically, I had like a bigger drop, and that's why the currency here is a little bit bigger. As well as we take a look at the other stuff that we have over here when it comes to the exotic currency, right? We have a shit ton of Eldritch Embers. I think like, yeah, like 30% more than we had on the last version. So that's why we have so much more currency made just by bubblegum currency and stuff, right? Fragments, funnily, exactly the same amount. Like literally 1,004 chaos in the magic find version and in the non-magic find version. I actually see that I fucked up the coloring here. Doesn't really matter too much. Div cards, completely random, is like 100 chaos less. Essences, we have a little bit less, like 100 chaos less. This is just bound on like, since I'm converting all the essences straight away and then see what we basically got out of it, right? So we were just a little bit more unlucky when it comes to like the more valuable what do you say, essences. So nothing too crazy over here. So the thing that really stood out was the map drops. Like, I had 279 total map drops in the 144 default cathedrals, and I had 392 map drops with the magic finding. So for some reason I have like over 100 maps more dropped, and that basically shows you like the difference here is like probably 1.5 divines extra when it comes to just the pure map drops. So that was like a big plus. I don't know exactly why or why not. I mean, I'm running the same kind of Atlas strategy, the same maps, everything the same, but it turns out with just the extra quantity, you get a shit ton of more map drops. And this is like, if I would have like a 300 maps versus a 280, like, yeah, whatever, you know, completely random. But I think from 279 to 392 is actually quite a lot. And these are like the same kind of pricing that I did on the other side too, just to have like an average, right? What was kind of disappointing is the amount of actual special maps that I dropped. As you remember, in my Atlas strategy, I have like extra chance to drop Conqueror maps, Shaper maps, Elder maps, synthesized maps, all kinds of these things, right? And it turned out I probably dropped like half the map. So we are comparing 21 map drops versus, what is it, 24, 35. So I almost doubled the drops on the non-magic find. And this is kind of like a thing where I say, this is like, in my opinion, not really easy to explain, because the map drops from a boss, I don't think that they're ever affected by magic find and rarity and stuff. And if they would be, then how come that I only have half the map drops in the semi-magic finding version? And as I said, same strategy, same everything. I didn't screw up anything. All the maps here, I killed the boss. It seems like I was just terribly unlucky, or on the other side, Omega lucky on the left side, as well as why did I have so much more currency on the synthesized maps here. Obviously, in the non-magic find, I found 4 Cortex maps, and in this one, I did not. So if you take a look just at my Guardian map, this, this is my personal tab, but, so here, this are the drops from 144 maps, and I think that looks kind of sad. I have here in the comparison video, that was my old video without magic find, right? And you see the tab difference, it's like twice as much maps, and that's kind of actually weird in my opinion. But overall, if we take a look at the overall, it was kind of the same profit. So we got less profit out of the maps, but we got more profit out of the currency and, like, you know, like these kind of things, a bit more onto the maps. So we are basically almost exactly the same here on the profit side. The only difference here is I think I took like roughly a 15 seconds longer per map in average than I did on a non-magic find, because obviously the semi-magic find, even though only trading out 4 items and a flask, I ended up losing like almost half of my DPS, because I'm missing flammability now, I'm missing enemies covered in ash and stuff like that. And you felt that if you click altars and stuff, you noticed that on some bosses it took me like 30 seconds. Rarely, but sometimes it happened that the boss was like so tanky that it quite took some time. So I can say the average diff per hour, like obviously the profit here is like if you run all the maps, regardless the time spent. But if we break it down to the time spent, we're actually having less results on the magic find version compared to the non-magic find. But in the end of the day, I know I found 4 Cortex on the left side, and this is basically the big difference in the currency, right? So overall, would I say magic find in a semi-magic find environment on a semi-boss rush strategy is worth it? It depends, I guess. You can do it, you cannot do it. I don't think it was like any crazy results. I mean, it's not like insane amounts of rarity. I personally would not do it, just because I don't like this kind of like scuffing my character by adding a couple more magic find items overall. Because I remember when I did the first episode, I was leveling from 97 to 98 within the 144 maps. I died one single time because I got blasted by a meteor, but I got my level up. Other than this version that is actually having now negative chaos resistance, you definitely notice the less tankiness, you know, degen floors, like the on-death poison effect, the grasping veins, the whatever kind of like chaos dot is in the game. I died like probably maybe 5 to 10 times in total, so I'm always being around like 10 to 20%. Then I have like 15 maps deathless, 20 maps deathless, but then you die again, and on 98 you definitely feel once you're dying on the experience here. So overall, I have a scuffed character. I do not have like any crazy results, and on top of that, my character does less damage, less tanky. I think the movement speed is actually less because the goldworms also have less movement speed. So overall, it's not for me. I'd rather just have a well-rounded beast character where I can say all the time like, oh, somebody needs a Maven carry, let me quickly do that, and not like, oh, wait a second, let me quickly switch from my magic find gear to my non-magic find gear and stuff like that, you know? So overall, I think if you want to do magic find, you probably have to do it in the big style where you say like, yo, I'm gonna run 60 dally, 80 dally, max choose, winged scarabs, and then go in with like timeless jewels that give you like 240 rarity and stuff like that, where you really have like sick magic find characters that are only existing because headhunter is a thing basically, right? It's not my cup of coffee, but I think this is like the most profitable thing to do. Overall, I mean, 144 maps is not like the craziest sample size, but it is better than running 5 maps as well, right? So yeah, I hope you get some info with... Actually, this video had no info, right? But it kind of has some info. At least I know that I don't want to kind of do this kind of setup. I would rather level up to level 100 without worrying about anything. And even if it means that I get like 5 chaos less per hour, I think I don't really care about that one too much. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.